Hello. I am so sorry I'm late. I'm getting myself down here and into position somehow. I'm just having a little drive in my car. I had to sort out some misbehaving sheep, as they do. Yeah, they like misbehaving. I love those sheep. I'm just going to come down here and park just down in the farm. Me and my co-driver in our farm charabang. Oh, bumpy, because it is very bumpy. Right, oopsie doopsie. I was going to be outside today, but it's a bit iffy. As in, if I pop you up there, it's a bit grey, and I'm not sure what the weather's going to do. And you know what? I'm going to be really brave and turn the car off. That means the air conditioning is going off. So we'll have to sit and hope that there's a cross breeze. What do you think, Annie? Cross breeze? She's like, yeah, no. So, I have to apologise. I made a boo-boo on Tuesday. I can't remember who asked me about the hay. It might have been Cloud. To clarify the situation with the hay. So, I don't know where my head's at. The hay that is currently, and let me spit this out because it's a bit complex. The hay that is currently on Meredith in the barn is jointly owned by Meredith and Goldie's. It is not exclusively Goldie's hay. As of the 1st of July, it switches to being Goldie's hay. So the hay will not be used for any animal on Goldie's farm as of the 1st of July. And just to clarify that. And the reason it's not hay that was bought with the hay bale money. What happened with us here is that the two farms shared responsibility for the Goldie's animals, so that they were paid for by Goldie's, and Meredith Farm paid for their own animals. Now their own animals constitute, wait for this one, 10 sheep, 2 alpacas, and a couple of donkeys, and 2 goats. So those animals were financially covered by this farm and separate, but the money came to Goldie's because we pulled together, and it allowed us to buy the big deliveries of hay. So the hay in the barn is purely until the 1st of July a shared enterprise, and then after that it's just going to be handed over to Goldie's exclusively, which is actually really good for us because we've been on, Meredith Farm has been on grass for quite some time, and we are going through a tiny amount of bales per week, so it's actually going to be quite good for us, and that's so that should clarify just what exactly we're trying to do with the hay. The hay, obviously, there's 4 stalls full of hay, and Janine said to me, can you go and count them? And no, I can't count them. I tried doing it by volume, it isn't working. And the reason it's very difficult to do is because they're not stacked the same way. Sometimes they're crosshatch, sometimes they're straight up, and there's no rhyme or reason as to how the hay was stacked because I had a team of 4 different people here. So it's a bit tricky, but there are 4 full stalls of hay, which is quite a lot, I think. And so that's good. But I did make a mistake, and I think probably in my it wasn't a question I was expecting, and in my head I kind of thought, well, we're not using the hay, so it's all going to go to Goldie's, but that wasn't quite accurate, so that was my boo-boo. I'm so sorry. Right, okay, and you're going to have to ask me questions, because without questions I'm just going to sit and talk about animals, what they're eating and their pooping schedule, and you know that, so you better get your questions in here, otherwise you're going to be exceptionally bored. So what's going on? It's been horrific. It's been so hot, but it is nice and cool today, and there is a beautiful breeze, which is very fortunate, because quite frankly I don't know what I'm going to do in deepest, darkest, highest summer. It's been horrific, thoroughly miserable. And now for the next few days, it's gone back down to about 67. So Hilda and I are happy. And then it is gone back up to the 70s and maybe up to the 80s. I think it's 80s on Tuesday. Oh, Tuesday, that's typical. MailChat day. I'll be absolutely dying. It has just been so terribly hot. And it's only May, so heaven help us come high dudgeon in the full height of summer. I'm not excited about this in any way, shape or form. It's miserable. And what else is happening? So Nick is still on the west coast, wherever he is, San Jose maybe. And Noodles, in fact, Nick contacted me. First thing he said to me after he reached there was, "Can you make sure that Noodles is not alone at night? He gets very upset." Thank you very much for that. So the first night he slept in with Sophie, and then that wasn't cutting the mustard. And so last night he slept in with me. So I had 5 dogs in the room with me. This one here is very territorial when it comes to her space in the bed. Annie. Hey, Missy. Yeah, very territorial when it comes to her space in the bed. So she was telling him, "That's my space, get out." So I had 2 dogs lying either side of me, one up at the pillow end, one down at the foot end. So I had 4 in total, and then the 5th one was on the sofa. Honestly, bedlam. And I have noticed, and it's actually very sad, that what Noodles is doing when I sit down, he comes and he sits with his head on top of my feet so I can't move without him knowing that I've moved. I think he's actually really missing Nick. It's terrible. So I think we'll have to get him, he's quite small, you could probably get him a cabin pass or something. He could go with Nick, and that would be just fine. But he's very much out of sorts at the moment. Oh, poor wee dog. He just loves Nick. So anyway, so that's good. And there was something else I had to say, and I can't for the life of me remember what it was. I need to start taking notes or making lists or something or other. Not sure what. Oh yes, I'm thinking that Rocco is going to go home on Thursday, and when I was contacted I thought, oh, is that today, Thursday? But no, it's next Thursday. So he'll take the little trip up to New Hampshire, and he'll be all settled in his new home by Thursday evening, which will be just lovely. And we've just got everybody else settled on here. We're beginning I'm going to have to go and dig out fans and things like that. Our sheep are being sheared the first week of June, which is going to be a relief. So let's hope that the weather doesn't start doing that nasty, spiky, horrible stuff, because we've been chasing sheep very slowly around the paddock to make sure that they're under the shade of the trees. They're not the best at making sure that they're in the best spot possible when the sun is beating down, but hey, you do what you can. The silly thing is, you always think, we hose horses down and, we take a blade over them so they cool down, blah, blah, blah. You can't do that with sheep because they're like sponges. And the problem with it is if you get that fleece saturated, it goes down into their skin and then it heats up, and then you're kind of like superheating them. So that is not good at all in any way, shape or form. So our sheep are pretty tricky and rather problematic, but we're trying to do our best by them and make sure that they're a-okay. The other thing is we are coming down with ticks. It's miserable. To the extent that, I don't know if you ever get this feeling, but you feel like your skin's creeping. And I sit places and I go, oh gosh, I think I've got one. I have taken 2 off me, countless off the dogs. The horses at the moment have been okay, which is super. But honest to goodness, these are big, chunky deer ticks, and there's a lot of them. If you stand still long enough in the paddock, one crawls over your shoe. I don't know what's happened, but we're having a tick explosion. This is the worst I think I've actually seen it. And I probably say that every year, but they are numerous at this precise moment in time. And the first one I saw was in January. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but it's not good. So I have purchased spray for the horses, I might add, just to pop on their legs to see if we can keep them from travelling up the way, because nobody needs them. And I'm not sure if it's fit for human purpose as well, but I might be spraying my feet as well. It's just one of those things. There's plus sides to everything in life and negative sides, so that is not good. Janine, I think, was out today with her tractor spreading muck, as she likes to do. She's creating another paddock, which will be super. Then she'll remember the paddock that she made last year. It wasn't a paddock in the courtyard, or was it 2 years ago? She's making another one, so she's reclaiming part of the parking pit that's not used, and she's utilising the muck heaps and spreading over there. So that's absolutely super. So let's hope that she gets that done while it's dry, gets it levelled, gets the grass seed down, and then let's hope for rain, because we're still under drought conditions. So it's not much fun, but hey, it is what it is, isn't it? Let's see if we've got any questions. Hello, everybody. Yes, it is much cooler today. It is such a relief. And it is Thursday. I'm a terrible one with days again. Hello, Carol. Oh, dear. So I'm just scrolling through here, and nobody's asking me a single question. That is my co-pilot. Look. She's got a thing about squirrels. She's never caught one yet. They outsmart her every single time, which I think is a relief, because I don't know what I would do if she did catch one. Oi, you. Yeah, you. She's like, just keeping an eye out. And this is a part of the farm where we very often watch the two coyote marching back and forwards. So we did have our, what was it? I think it was Monday, and I was standing on a rock wall, looking at one of the animals and making sure it was okay. And Annie was at my feet, and somebody was waving at me, going, and I'm waving back, going, yeah, it's Annie, it's great, whoa. And the next thing is they came over and said, no, the coyote. And I'm like, what coyote? And the coyote had been stalking Annie and I, and I thought, ooh, right. So we went and watched it, and so now we know where all the coyote paths are on the farm. And I thought there were deer paths, but it looks like the coyotes are going through the grass, because these are hay fields, you see, are going through the hay fields and creating little paths. So I've got a rough idea where they're hanging out. I don't really want to meet one, so I'm going on the premise that if I know where they are, I can avoid them, hopefully. Oh dear. Nick is having a lovely time. And, well, in fact, that's rubbish. Nick is working. But he did meet somebody from one of the companies that he is doing something with. And they live in Nashua, New Hampshire. And they also have goats. So he was very excited about that. So Nick and his blinking goats and his ducks, I don't know. So I think they've had a good chat about, and it's funny because Nick's worked for this company in the past, but they haven't ever met face to face. So it's really quite peculiar how things happen. So I'm thinking they had a conversation about goats, as one does. And Nick says it's much cooler in San Jose than it is here. So. But he's having to come home tonight. He's leaving at 6:45 allegedly, and he's doing an overnight flight because he's got all these conference calls tomorrow, and he has to be in front of his computer and not travelling. And we know what happens if you're the last flight out on a Friday. You don't get home till late night Saturday, because it's a terrible thing. You just get totally and utterly stuck. You get everybody's backlog from the beginning of the day. And we've had nights where, it's been 3 a.m. and he said, you know what, there's no point even leaving here to go to a hotel, because quite frankly, I'm having to be on the flight at 5:30. I'm like, yeah, good point. And so I think he's back hopefully tomorrow morning. Oh, in fact, if he gets home, it might be 6 a.m, so he can take Sophie to school. That would be fantastic. And then I think he's away in DC next week. So he's all over the point. He's obviously at stages in these projects where he's got people to see and things to do. So yes, so he is doing well. I think he finds his work very interesting. So I think that's all that matters. Yeah, I hate hot too. Ugh. Yes, Arlo's got a few puncture marks, and I'm afraid to say I think it was probably actually Noodles that caused the problem, with his little sharp noodly teeth. Honestly, that dog, if he's not yapping, he's causing trouble somewhere. But Nick loves him, and that's all that matters. And he loves Nick, and they're just a little team of, I don't know, whatevers. Well, it was really funny that you should say that, Carol, have Nick do FaceTime with Noodles. He actually, I was in bed last night and Nick FaceTimed me from the office because obviously there's a time difference. And I had it on speakerphone. And Noodles' ears were just going, can't work this one out, can't smell him, can't see him, I can hear him. And his little ears were sort of like scanning. So he was totally and utterly confuddled. And then he went and found a ball and brought it. But that was probably actually Nick, because Nick's constantly throwing his ball for him. So he probably thought, just to be on the safe side, I'll go and get a ball so somebody can throw it for me. And it isn't me, because when you start throwing a ball for Noodles, he just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And it's exhausting. So, so he was sadly disappointed yesterday, little soul that he is. Nah. I could give Noodles, he's actually got Nick's blanket. He takes it off the bed and onto the floor. Don't tell Nick. I hope he's at work and he's busy. So I'll have to wash that. In fact, I'll have to wash that pretty sharpish now that I think about it. Oh dear, more washing. It's okay, Diana, I knew what you meant. Booney Boo is just fine. He is. Boone has to be fed on a nose bag, much to his absolute disgust. But Boone is one of these horses that takes the bucket handle and tips his food all over the place. Or he puts his head into a feeder and it's like he talks with his mouth open, and it all just falls out and goes all over the place and makes a tremendous mess. I have never really actually experienced such a messy eater. And he's on quite a strict program of additives, at which point half of the additives are on the ground and they're not in the animal. So he's on a nose bag, much to his absolute disgust. So he stands and he puts the nose bag down on the ground, so his head goes down. He puts his enormous foot on the nose bag and tries to pull it over his ears. So he has to be supervised. He's just a high maintenance boy, but he's very happy and very full of the joys of life is Boone. So, and I'm hoping to get him going under saddle. I've been saying this since I've had him, which is coming up for a year, or it could be a year, I'm not sure. So I'm actually hoping to get my backside back in a saddle, because I don't think I've been on horseback or muleback or anything back for about 2 years now, maybe even more than that. So one never can tell. I know Annie's my wee co-pilot. Where's she gone now? She's gone in the back. She's obviously bored. What you doing back there now? She's like, not talking. Oh, she's obviously seen something. Thank you very much, Susie. I washed it today. No point washing it yesterday or the day before. Oh dear. Oh yeah, the ticks are awful. And you know, it's terrible, because you're beginning to read about all these different infections that are coming out with tick bites. You know, it's not just the Borrelia. There's just so much coming out now, so we're all having to be careful. Is that why? That's actually really interesting, Susie, because we had so much snow and ice over the winter, and you know, I think we always were led to believe that when you have a really harsh winter, a lot of the ticks die ours just didn't. And that's why I was shocked to see them out and about, because I took some off my dogs in January, and I couldn't understand this because everywhere was icy. I mean, under ice, and with a lovely snow cap on top of it as well. It was just absolutely horrific. So that's probably quite right. The snow is blinking well insulated the little stinkers, and they're coming back with a vengeance. Ooh. You must have been ballooning from a field, Carol. They are the nastiest little beasts, ticks. Awful things. Oh, look at that. Rain. Perfect, Hilda. If Janine gets her grass seed down, it can be watered in Sunday and Monday. That would be perfect. Oh, my Mr. Enzo. I do love Enzo. He's the naughtiest boy ever, honestly, but he's full of character and personality. He's doing very well. We were back on target. I was bringing him into the barn to feed him, and I was grooming him, which he absolutely hates, purely because he is going to need to be clipped. When he first came into us, he was actually clipped, but he is going to need to be clipped this summer. And I have never clipped anything in my life. And so I thought I would jump in at the deep end and start with a really ornery mini mule. Sounds like a perfect plan. But he is so full of the joys of just being Enzo. He just makes my heart sing. I look at him and go, look at him, naughtiest boy in the paddock. I just love him. But he's doing his thing. I was hoping to get him out and about. We used to go walking. We used to do about 3.5 miles a day, and it's very good for him because it keeps him out of mischief. But the coyotes are quite prevalent on here at the moment, and they're prevalent during the day. So I don't really actually want to take him out of the paddock because he does a very good job of protecting the paddock lines. He's not interested in protecting the sheep. And in fact, Janine has always had a policy that we don't have livestock guardians, particularly not mini animals, etc. And he is very definitely a mini mule, but don't tell him that because he's unaware of that fact. And he doesn't protect the sheep in any way, shape or form. He just protects the paddock line. So anything that comes up to the gates or to the fence line, he's up there. He bounces up like Pepe Le Blinking Pew, and he stands there and goes, hello, my name's Enzo, what do you want? And he does it with my dog, Annie. She's walking along, minding her business, and he comes charging up to the fence line, and he goes, I got my eye on you. And she's like, I am terrified of that animal. And so she should be, because he's not a fan of dogs or dog-shaped things. So he certainly at the moment, touch wood, has been doing a pretty good job. Although I will say, sometimes his stomach gets the better of him, and I'm watching the sheep and I'm watching Enzo, who really doesn't look like he's got his head in the game, because quite frankly, his nose is on the ground and he's eating. So let's hope that he keeps an eye out and does a really good job. And he's always full of shenanigans. Thank you very much. I don't really want to know about the shenanigans because quite frankly, there's always something going on with that mule. Yeah, it's just, I think there's like 2 packs of coyotes in here. I read something recently and it said that every town, whether rural or city, always had packs of roaming coyotes. Of quite a lot kicking around here, and we do try and avoid them. Yeah, I think Wanda would do well to keep away from any coyotes. Yes, I love the goats as well, Susie. Thank you, Claudette. That's hilarious because you know how I normally go scalping around. Yes, that's right. He's leaving tonight, Thursday night, and he should be back in by Friday morning so that we avoid the Friday night end of the week exodus. Excuse me. No, I don't touch those ducks. I don't think Nick's doing the ducks either. I'm not sure what's going on with the ducks. I should probably ask. Oh, changed your mind. Oh my gosh, that sounds very complex, Karen. Just sitting here trying to get through. Oh my gosh. It's very tricky because what I seem to get is sometimes it gives me notifications when people are watching, you see, and it's tricky. Karen, Annie is a Malinois. I actually thought originally she was a well, when she came into me from the rescue, she was supposed to be a shepherd. And then we took her for training with an expert lady who was absolutely fantastic, and she said, "No, she's a Malinois, idiot." I was like, "Oh, I knew that." No, I didn't. And she is just super on the ball all the time. She goes all day. She's super alert, and you just have to keep her going with something to do. Otherwise, she just gets into mischief, and the mischief is she likes chewing hairbrushes. Sophie very often comes home and has an absolute freaky out because Missy over here has stolen the hairbrush and chewed it to pieces. I don't know what it is about spiky hairbrushes, but she loves it. She loves dog brushes. She loves horse brushes. She eats any kind of brush. It just seems to be her thing. So we just keep her active and moving, and I have never, ever managed to tire that dog out. She just, you think, oh, she'll be exhausted and she'll sleep now. And nope, you move, she's up and at it. She's, you're quite something, aren't you, Missy? Annie Banana. Yes, you are. She's like, ignore me. Right. Let me see. I should keep going here, shouldn't I? Okay. Sacramento, yeah, coyotes are really prevalent absolutely everywhere, I think. Yes, both of the goats, one had a broken foot and one had a broken leg, and both of them have healed and they're back to nonsense again. We have been so exceptionally lucky. Although I will say, the one that had the broken leg, it was broken in 3 places and it spent a day in tufts, which was quite an eye-opener, I will say. So thank you for asking. They're fantastic. They're the nicest little goats. Okay, so I think I have got to the end of any questions that there were. And I should, I think, be back on Tuesday. And we'll take it from there and see how it goes. Oh, Tuesday's going to be 80 degrees, obviously. It's going to be horrific. We shall just have to suffer together. Thank you so very much for joining me, and I hope to see you Tuesday. Have a super weekend.